So it's been a minute since my last video, and in all fairness, I was on vacation for about the last 2 weeks. But we are back with one of the most popular mid-range productivity laptops. I'm talking about the latest iteration of the Lenovo IdeaPad 3i 2022 edition. Now the configuration we have here is one of many. This particular configuration has the i5-1235U processor. We have 12 gigabytes of DDR4 memory on board, Intel's integrated Iris Xe graphics, a 500 gigabyte solid state drive. We have Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2 on board. Additionally, this is the 15-inch non-touch display. However, depending on which region you're located and which retailer you buy from, it also has a touchscreen variant as well. In today's video, we're going to do a detailed breakdown to see if the Lenovo IdeaPad 3i can keep its crown as one of the best values for productivity laptops, or if they're getting a little rusty at their game and there might yet be better options. As always, if you enjoyed the review, make sure you hit that like button and sub to our channel. Let's get started. As far as the unboxing goes, Lenovo really doesn't care much about their packaging experience, which basically means you get a standard looking plain cardboard box with the word Lenovo literally written on it. Now, once you open the box, inside, of course, the first item you will find is the IdeaPad 3i itself, which on first impression looks very similar to last year's model, but more on that in a quick minute. You also have a standard 65-watt charging adapter. Unfortunately, it's still using Lenovo's proprietary pin, so no USB-C charging out the box, a bit of a shame there. You also finally have the standard wall outlet charging cable piece, and that's pretty much everything of relevance. As I mentioned earlier, the IdeaPad 3i looks very similar to its 2021 predecessor in terms of design. You have a majority plastic build with some premium metallic finishes. But overall, this is still very much the reserved and conservative design we've seen from Lenovo traditionally speaking. Now, this laptop does have a relatively hefty weight of 3.8 pounds, making it slightly heavier than the average 15-inch laptop. But in all fairness, its bulky body doesn't necessarily look bad, and like I mentioned, has a professional appeal to it. Now, starting off with the top side of the device, like I mentioned, you have this really nice premium metallic finish that doesn't really have any particular texture to it. It just looks nice and subtle. You'll also notice you do have the classic Lenovo badging towards the bottom right, although this time you have a more chrome reflective surface rather than a plain old mirror one. As you make your way to the side of the laptop, you're going to be quite disappointed by the fact that I/O port quality and standards haven't really improved on this latest generation of the laptop. So you have the DC charging port. Past that, you have a USB-A super speed port. You have a HDMI 1.4B port. You have a USB-C port. Unfortunately, it's not Thunderbolt 4, so it's just a plain old USB-C port. Quite disappointing. You also have a good old headphone jack. Now, on the other side, you have one more USB-A port, and you do have, interestingly enough, a full-sized SD card reader. While there are enough ports, these standards are quite dated and would be usually found on laptops that are often 2 or even 3 years old at this point in time. The bottom of the laptop is pretty standard stuff, so you do have a hard plastic finish. You'll also notice you have a nice long air intake vent for cool air to enter, and on either bottom corner you do have a speaker grill, indicating this is a bottom firing dual speaker setup. As soon as you unfold this laptop, you immediately appreciate the sheer amount of palm rest area Lenovo provides for you to comfortably rest your hands. But you're also mind baffled at the fact that for some reason Lenovo is unable to tell where the center of the device is, because that trackpad is way too left skewed, which continues to be a problem with so many Lenovo devices. Now, the good news, of course, is that the trackpad itself is actually quite decent in terms of its quality. So basically, you do have a plastic surface finish, but the clicks are surprisingly tactile. It's very responsive, and it's miles better than what a lot of the competition actually offers in this price range. The keyboard on the IdeaPad 3i continues to be a class act. You have an ample amount of surface area on each keycap for the most part, and you'll also appreciate the fact that the typing experience on here is an absolute joy. Every keystroke feels tactile yet nimble at the exact same time. This is one of the few keyboards where typing is actually fun. On top of that, you do have the inclusion of a full-size 10 keypad for you number productivity folks out there, and of course this is a fully backlit keyboard, and if that's not enough, it does include a built-in fingerprint scanner which doubles as the power button. The hinge quality is decent on this device, but you still do have a fair bit of wobble when you're actually using the device. Thankfully, the hinge mechanism is quite secure, which basically means it should last for the years to come. Now, display fitting is pretty standard. You have a relatively thin chin at the bottom. You'll also notice you have nice and thin bezels. They're narrow and they look more or less in line with 2022 standards. And you have a pretty thin forehead at the top, which does unfortunately include a now severely outdated 720p webcam. A lot of the competition has moved out. Lenovo continues to cheap out here a little bit. And let's just be honest, it looks less than ideal for anything other than Zoom meetings. In terms of display, Lenovo went down the standard budget laptop route, basically meaning you get a standard full HD or 1920 by 1080p display here, a 15-inch screen with a IPS panel and a 60Hz refresh rate. Viewing angles are pretty decent as well. Now, one thing I will tell you is that because this is the non-touch variant, you have a matte finish screen. If you got the touch variant, it would have a glossy finish. It's also worth noting this laptop has a overall color accuracy of just approximately 51% sRGB, meaning it looks bland and colors aren't that great on this machine. If you are doing color sensitive activities, you may want to consider other options, but if you're just looking at numbers on Excel, well, it'll be alright for that. Now, it's also worth noting you have a maximum peak brightness of 300 nits, which is more than enough for most indoor and low light settings. However, if you use this in bright outdoor settings, the screen is easily overcome by glare. In terms of performance, given that this is a U-series i5 processor, I wasn't expecting all that much, but it's a pretty peppy machine. So day-to-day tasks like web browsing, watching videos in 4K are all going to work super fast as you'd expect them to. But even demanding tasks like extensive multitasking or even 4K video editing are actually viable experiences on this device. In fact, I was able to do multiple layer video rendering and it was a pretty smooth experience for the most part. Part of that is because we have 12 gigabytes as opposed to 8 gigabyte, but it's definitely also because of that 12th gen power. Now, as far as gaming goes, you'll be happy to know that older games like GTA 5 can easily run at a steady 30 plus frames per second on medium settings with DX11 enabled. Of course, this is not a gaming machine by any standards, so you're not going to run Cyberpunk on here. In the thermals department, the 3i is actually pretty impressive. So under unrealistic peak loads, it can hit an average surface temperature of just about 44 degrees Celsius, but more realistic sustained loads will yield you about 38 degrees, which is a very manageable number. Now, fan noise is not as forgiving, unfortunately. Under peak lows, we were able to hit as much as 49 decibels noise level, which comes pretty close to gaming laptop territory. Fortunately, the fans only really run when you're actually doing demanding tasks, and it's pretty quiet when you're doing more casual activities. In terms of battery life, performance will vary depending on the kind of activities you're doing. In our test, we had it on 50% brightness, did some web browsing, occasionally used the speakers at 40% volume, and also, of course, we were watching some 4K footage on Netflix, and we yielded just about 8 hours of battery life. In terms of speaker quality, it's not crisp, nor all that clear. There is a fair bit of distortion at higher volume levels, but this speaker system can definitely get very loud given the size of this laptop, enough to fill an entire room. Have a quick listen for yourself.
They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that could make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't care 'cause I keep chasing. I got all this potential that's deep inside of me, but they hate when you're successful 'cause they try to be. They sit there being judgmental because you're trying things, and they just want you to settle and do the right thing. So get a good job, don't slack off, wake up every morning.
Here's the summary. At approximately $650 US for the base configuration of the 3i 15-inch laptop, there's definitely a lot of conservatism with this laptop. Lenovo continues to use the successful design they introduced last year. Additionally, they provide the same high-quality trackpad and keyboard we've come to love with Lenovo products. However, they refuse to improve certain areas that now are definitely becoming visibly dated, like the poor I/O port selection on this laptop and that severely colorless display that they continue putting up. Now, with that said, of course, these things aren't always imperative for all users, and perhaps Lenovo's doing so is strategic in the sense that they provide you with a lot of the items professional business users alike would need, like having access again to a full-size 10 keypad. But if you are someone who's more on the creative side, the 3i isn't necessarily as competitive as some of the competition, like with what Acer's putting out with the Aspire 5 or HP with their laptop 15 series. So definitely explore the market. But if you're a business student or a professional, then the 3i continues to be an excellent budget productivity option. Overall, if you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you hit the like button and consider subbing to this channel. It genuinely helps us grow. Let me know which laptop review you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching.